Hello golfers, and welcome to the Jess Frank Golf Academy YouTube channel. My name is Jess Frank. I love helping golfers play better golf. Been doing it for over 20 years and love helping you play better golf on the course and have more fun. Today, the dreaded casting. I see it all the time on the golf course or on the driving range. People are casting the club, early releasing as people like to call it, and there is a main cause of this. And usually it's because most people were born into the golfing world slicing, or were taught in a way that made them slice. So they were taught to roll their hands over to close the face. Okay, so they're taught to roll their hands over to close the face. And what happens is that the more they start to roll their hands over to close the face, there's their cast. So that's what happens. So you lose power, you hit behind it, you can hit off the toe. These are certain things that can really hurt your game, lose distance, inconsistencies, all that stuff. So what's the first thing I look at when somebody's casting? I always look at their grip, because a lot of times what happens is that their grip is high in the palm. Okay, so when it's too high in the palm, what it does is it opens the face too much. Okay, when the face is open, if you don't want to go right, you got to close it. So you start to early try to close that, and so that's when you start to get this little cup look with the hands back instead of having that nice forward shaft lean look with the face closed. So let's look at that grip first. Make sure it's in the fingers under the heel pad. Okay, so you can see that right there. A little stronger grip will help. And then as you go back, instead of the face opening, now the face is going to stay a little more closed longer. So as you go back now at the top of your swing, the face isn't rolled open, it's more closed at the top of your swing. So now you don't have to release your hands so aggressively through the shot or try to close the club face. So number one, usually the root cause of a caster or early releaser is an open club face. And so if I look at the top of most people's golf swings, the top of the golf swing, their face looks like this. So you can see how open the face is to the shaft. So at the top of their swing, the club face is super open. So again, open club face leads to casting. So if you don't want an open club face, you have to do a couple things. So here's one thing you can do. You can close, or you can strengthen your grip, put it more in the fingers, get this right side of your wrist bone on the right side of the shaft. You can also turn make sure your right hand is a little more from the side of the club. A lot of people who have open faces have their right hand too much on top of the club, so it's more from the side, but always in the fingers. So that's super important. Also, the first part of your takeaway. A lot of people who open the face roll that club open immediately, and so the face is open, and then they start closing the face by casting the club out. So now that would be the root cause of casting, and a couple ways to fix it. Okay, so if because I could give you all the other fixes, but that's not going to cure the cancer. That's going to only kind of like mask it for a while. So if I close the face, push my handle forward, that's going to also help you get the face closed so you don't have to cast the club. But if I do that, if I tell people to, with an open face, push their handle forward, now look at what happens to the face. It even opens more, so you're going to block it even more to the right, which we don't want either. We don't want to have all those rightward shots. So, again, let's look at the grip, let's look at the club face, let's look at the takeaway from setup, which is P1, to halfway back, which is P2. Let's take a look at that face, make sure that club face, so you can see that is kind of tilted down a little bit and not so much open. So that's really important right there as you swing back. Okay, from there, as you come through, that's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot less effort to hit the ball more solid. What also happens when you cast, you create a cutting across effect of the ball of the club. So not only do you have an open face now, you also cut across it and you slice it. So, casting, open club face, early release, slicing, not uncommon. And occasionally you'll close the face enough where you can pull it or hook it or just pull it left. But a lot of inconsistent contacts. I see a lot of people hitting the ball off the toe because of the face open and then trying to close it, so that's never any good, especially when we're trying to hit it in the center of the club face. So let's do that to get rid of the casting. Okay, as we go back, we're going to take the top of the swing. We're going to check our left wrist as well. Instead of the left wrist being cupped, you can see the cupping. We're going to flatten the left wrist a little bit, kind of like a Dustin Johnson. And you can see the difference. Watch my club face at the top. That's open with a that's open right there, and that's closed. Open, closed. So sometimes just doing that little twisting of the left hand, left wrist, can really kind of get you into a position now that is going to be much easier to get the face closed. Okay. So here's one thing you got to look out for. So as a caster, you start fixing that club face. Now all of a sudden, you've got a club face that is back to square or a little closed to the shaft there, but you're still have a lot of hand roll going on. So now you have you fixed it, but you have a lot of hand roll, so the face is overly closed now, and now you're all of a sudden like, Jess, I'm now pulling the ball, or I'm hooking it too much. And so that's when you start to work on how your body rotates through the ball, how your arms and hands swing through, so you'll have a lot less rotation. And now watch here as I come back into the ball that my arm is now rotating at the proper rate. And as I come through, now as I put the club down, my hands are on my left leg, the shaft's leaning forward. So I have a lot of good aspects of what we're trying to accomplish. So you can see the differences, how that changed just from an open club face and just on the casting. So I'm gonna work on that a little bit. So this is the first thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go for the little bit stronger grip with the fingers, I should say. Not really stronger, but club more in the fingers, heel pad on top, right hand more from the side. And then I'm gonna do the first thing is I'm only gonna take a P1 to P2 swing, and then from P2 to P8. But as I go back to P2, I'm looking at that face being more tipped over here, so I don't have to, so if that face is open, then I'm in trouble. So I'm gonna just go ahead and chip one out like that. So grips in the fingers. I'm gonna go back to P2, make sure that club face is in the right spot, and I'm gonna go chip it out there. So I didn't feel any casting, any early release, any trying to help the ball in the air. I didn't feel any of that, which is very helpful of not casting. So go ahead, try that again. And this is something you should do a lot of too. Like if you're a caster, you should hit a lot of shots that are short swings. Short swings, working on where the club face is, how your body, how your arms move through the shot, that you're not trying to help the ball in the air. Very important, okay? Let's do that again. So now I hit a shot, because all you're doing is you're working on punch shots, really. I mean, these are basic little punch shots, chip shots, hitting shots where you're moving through the ball with your arms now, instead of just kind of flicking the hands, early release, all that crazy stuff. Okay, so now that we worked on the grip, now we got the club face better at P2. Let's take it to P3. Same thing. We'll go ahead and make sure that when you go to the top here, that club face is closed to the shaft. So that was really solid, and in fact, had a little draw on it there. So by me not trying to early release my hands and try to close the face, I actually got a draw on the ball. So what happens a lot of times when people release the club, they create a path that's too far to the left. I'll do it this way. So their release comes too far underneath it. They're actually burning their belt buckle here with their hands. So they're going this way. So the face, even though they're trying to close it, actually stays more open. It actually stays more open. Actually, the wrist open. So this is super important. So the P3 to P8 swing, or P3 to P9 swing, is something that I talk about a lot. Something that can help you the most. Left arm parallel to the ground, checking the club face, making sure that club face and the club head is in the right spot. And it's just a simple little swing. Nothing big, just hitting it solid out there about 100, 120 yards. But you're hitting the ball in the center of the face, and you're making good contact every single time. So now, if you want to go even bigger, we're going to go ahead and go to the P4 position. So P4 to P9. So we're going to go P4 to the top, P9 over here, not P10, but just P9. We're going to go ahead and set up to it, face close to the shaft. I can feel that. I rehearsed that a couple times. You can see my left wrist is a little flatter at the top. It's not cupped. So the face isn't open. It's more square to the shaft. We're going to go ahead and hit a shot. And again, I just hit it a little farther or straighter. You know, nice and solid. Just looking for good contact, no slicing, not trying to cast. So if this is an issue for you, casting the club, early release, slicing, open club face, inconsistent contact, all those things that I like to help fix, this is a great video for you. And if you know some friends, go ahead and share it with them too. So please like it, please leave a comment, let me know how you like it, and then I'll keep posting the videos and helping you guys out as much as I can. So thanks again for watching. We'll see you soon.